pick one?
Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Slow on the silver tide, old tales wake where the shadows hide. Through the fog a whisper creeps of something stirring in the deep.
And welcome to Thursday Night KLRN Land. This is your early intro to the weekend, as we always do here, because this is disasters in the making. How is everyone doing? I'm Brad Slager. We're getting ready to continue our KLRN theme of the month, which is cryptids, which we're doing for the sake of the holiday Halloween season. And so we're about to do a deep dive into another monster feature, but I'm not jumping in by myself because grabbing his floaties and wetsuit along with me from ScreenRant.com, it is Paul Young. What's going on, Paul?
How you doing, my good cryptic friend? What kind of cryptid would you be if you were a cryptid? If you were unknown zoologically?
I would probably have to be probably one of those Roger Corman sharks that he's created. I don't know, like what was it? Octoshark? What did he call it?
Mega Croctopus.
Yeah, he did Sharktopus, which was a great white.
Now, just for verification, you are saying shark with a K and not shark with a T, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay,
Shark,
okay.
The aquatic animal, not the bowel movement.
Which technically both would be correct in this instance.
Yes, I think both could qualify as cryptids in this case, but
I know what I would be. I'd be one of those giant ants. One of those big giant ants from them.
Okay, that's a curious spirit animal for you to choose.
Is that a cryptid, though? I mean, it's an ant. Everybody knows what an ant is. It's just a big ant.
Yeah, that was more of a nuclear mutation back in the day, because that was the thing in the 40s. We were always giant ants, giant iguanas, whatever the heck they had in their terrarium, they could put on screen with forced perspective, and it became a monster. But we are exploring this zoological oddity because, yes, as I said, they're doing cryptids on a number of shows, and as we did on our last episode as well for Halloween. So Paul and I put our heads together to come up with some kind of mythological creature, and we decided, why don't we traverse our way to Northern Europe, the north end of Great Britain, and tackle the Loch Ness Monster, aka Nessie, to see if we could find a movie that's worth a damn on this particular creature. We didn't find one that was worth a damn.
There's some decent ones. Like, I think The Water Horse by Steven Spielberg from back in the day was, gosh, Lee, it was like early 2000s, and I called it back in the day. I think The Water Horse is probably the closest Loch Ness Monster movie that you could come up with. We could have done something Loch Ness adjacent, like any of the Lake Placid sequels. But no, we had to find something. Back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Sci-Fi Channel and the Asylum were basically throwing any old schlock at the wall to see what they could get to stick. It did not matter the quality. It did not matter the story. Nothing mattered other than, can we put this on TV? Is somebody willing to star, produce, and direct this thing? If so, let's go with it. And that's essentially what this movie is. It is. Do you remember about 5 years ago, maybe 4.5, 5 years ago, we covered a Jurassic Park movie? Do you remember that? It was like Jurassic Island or
Oh
some
yeah.
nonsense. I think this is directed and this is made by the same production company, because the production effects are about as terrible.
This was not a high end effort by any stretch. It pretty much was, hey, done a Loch Ness Monster movie in a while. We should do one. And then they did as little as possible.
But you know what's sad is the guy who directed this movie, Chuck Komsky, and he is known. His IMDb page. This is all he has on his IMDb page. What he's known for being on charge of visual effects for Avatar, Blade, and Last Action Hero.
Yeah,
What?
He's got special effects experience. Would be nice to see some of these special effects skill, but we didn't really get that. We pretty much have an assemblage of your usual actors, C, D, and E list, TV performers and things of this nature. Most of them Canadian, of course, and then give them a functional script, rewrite it a few times. I think this thing had 3 different writers for them to basically.
You're being very generous with functional.
Well, it's the holidays, Paul. We have to be genteel and generous with others.
I don't know. This thing is 24 years old. I don't think we owe it anything.
No, we don't really. But it's one of the few examples. So the thing I liked is, as the opening credits come up, they were pretty damn weak. I think they tried to make the lettering look aquatic, but really it just kind of rolled up the screen. And then we get one of the title cards for the International Film Group, which on screen I think they tried to sell, but you really get the feeling that it's more like the International House of Pancakes here. You're not really getting.
I would have taken that. I would have been okay with that.
And then they tried to set the tone immediately after
with a Bible verse. Like, I knew that this was going to come into a play later. That, where they talk about in Job, where they talk about the Leviathan. I knew that was eventually going to show up, and they were going to reference that, since they started off with the verse. But
was it Job or Jonah?
I think it was a quote from Jonah, but they referenced Job. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, they referenced Job and Leviathan.
Where Job talks about I was just thinking Jonah in the belly of the whale. That's where I was going. So
yeah, this thing was all over the place when it came to just like doing stuff.
So this is what they give us to open. He makes the depths churn like a boiling cauldron and stirs up the sea. Nothing is his equal, a creature without fear. I'm scared, Paul. I am frightened.
Well, he's without fear. You have fear.
Okay, I see now. They're also a little mistaken here, because they keep referencing it as a he, and what we see throughout is that this is probably a she, because they keep referencing eggs in the bottom of the lock. Just a little quibble. One of the details here that kind of struck me. So it's a little tough here, because I think what they assumed as filmmakers was, hey, we're giving you a Loch Ness Monster movie, and that's going to be sufficient for the audience to understand everything that's going on. As a result, they don't have to tell us anything. So we get people diving in the water.
I had to immediately look this up, and it was bugging me. This is the problem. Okay, so I was out of town last week when we picked this movie, and I decided to download it and watch it on my tablet. And I like to like research and verify and talk about movies while I'm watching them to see what what we're going to discuss later, and I always look for errors. And the first thing that happens is they're talking about they're in a cage and they're diving down to the bottom of the lake, and I'm like, is the Loch Ness deep enough for you have to use dive suits in a cage? Like, what is it that deep? How deep is it? And I had to buy internet access, Brad. I had to buy internet access on a Southwest flight, 30,000 feet in the air, to verify the depths of Scotland, the lock. It's 747 feet deep, or
You could
745
have
feet deep.
just texted me. Amish and I did a Nessie show like a week ago. So
Oh, did you? I don't.
yeah,
Can you? Do you? What do you? Are you an iPhone?
yeah,
Oh, yeah. I guess I could have.
yeah.
Because that's all you get. That's all you got up there is WhatsApp and iPhone. Apparently, that's all. That's the only thing that works.
Yeah, no,
Right there.
it's around 750 feet deep because we did Nessie. We did water cryptids in week 3, so it was not this Saturday, not this past Saturday, but the one before. So
Yeah. Well, I guess technically they would have been good down into the water at 745 feet or whatever.
There you
But they
go.
were
See,
not
Paul?
that far. But they were not that far off the shore. I'm sorry. That's going to be 745 at the center, working your way out. There's no way they were. They look like they're like what 30 yards offshore. That must be just a heck of a drop off.
Yeah, they don't do a lot of scientific accurate portrayals in this. Let's just say that. But again, if we're talking about the Loch Ness monster, who the hell needs accuracy, right? None of that comes into play.
Not this movie.
So again,
That always bugs me, bro. It's like if I can find out information 30,000 feet in the air. Granted, this was made in 2001, but AOL existed, so I knew you had the ability to look this up. Like you can look basic information up as you're writing something. You don't have to just like assume you don't have the ability or time to put an Encyclopedia Britannica, and at least write something down that makes sense.
well, yeah. It could also be a case where they're assuming the audience doesn't know any of this stuff, and therefore they'll just swallow whatever the hell you belch up on screen.
I think it's bold of them to assume there was going to be an audience.
Well, such as it is. But again, 3 writers for this. That cracked me up.
I don't understand
And
why.
Here's why it cracks me up. As the movie unspools, and we'll get into these details, but every so often this little touch point will come up and it's like, what, that rings a bell. Wait, that seems familiar. I know I've seen this before. So much of this film touches on Jaws. Just flat out lifted from Jaws.
Oh, most of it does. It's all supposed to be based on that. From all right down to the way the Scottish police captain, I'm sorry, constable. He likes to correct people to the word constable.
He drills that home.
Yeah, the way he responds to something dangerous being in the water, like right down there to that.
It's tourist season. We can't close the beaches.
Is it tourist season in Scotland?
Well, that's the thing that cracked me up too. Is they keep talking about the need for tourists, and yet all they do is complain about the Yanks that are in town. Get the hell out and go back to the States. So the one thing that's drawing people is the Loch Ness monster. So you got people looking for it, and the locals are all pissed off that these people are here. You tourists, get out of here. We need more tourists to come. Huh? Right there. Another pretty significant plot hole. And this thing is just filled with them. So get ready. So we've got divers in the water. Stuff is going on. Take our word for it because they don't show it.
No, this whole movie is the very, very prime example of not having a budget to do anything. And when we've discussed this before, that when low budget movies need to show something but don't have the budget to actually show a room, they like dark light everything behind them. And so it's supposed to be in this massive, expansive room, and they just everything's dark, and you just see light on the people or the objects that you're supposed to be looking at. and that's how they get around not having to like use a giant studio sound stage. That's what they have done here for this movie, but underwater. At no point in time did I believe they were underwater at any point.
Well,
Nowhere.
this is how cheap the movie was. The diving scenes, they were not in water.
Yeah.
They did not
I don't know what
use
they were
a
in.
water tank or anything of the sort. And you notice this because I think there's at least 4 scenes where they're scuba diving.
Yeah, and nothing's floating.
You never see bubbles one time. Well, no, I'm sorry, excuse me. There is one time because they say, "Oh, my valve is open. I'm losing air," and then they had to actually digitally insert a string of bubbles over the guy's shoulder. That was it. The rest of the time, they're in a dark room, and the camera keeps bobbing up and down to make it look like they're floating in the water, and they put fog in the room so it looks murky and cloudy. There you go. There's your budget.
But there's nothing floating. You don't see anything floating, like
Not their hair.
like a tether, the rope, a piece of string, maybe a fish swimming by. Nothing. There's nothing.
I mean, the female researcher has long black hair, shoulder length. We see her on shore talking all the time, and then when she's underwater, it's never billowing around her or floating behind her. Nope, just hanging straight. Huh. There you go. Thank you, movie. So we open with them in the water. Again, very dark. Stuff happens. We only know this because they say, "Oh my gosh, did you hear that? Did you see what? Huh?" We have no clue. And then there's a tremor, earthquake. And I had to check. I did like you do, research. There is a fault line that runs through the Loch Ness. So points for accuracy, I suppose. But they say that it's not like a significant fault. It's just slides every now and then. And you might get like a 3.2 on the Richter scale. In this movie, it causes an underwater rock slide and takes down the lead researcher with him. And we see him descend from the camera into the murky depths and disappears. Sad.
Gus. His name
was
Gus.
Gus.
Poor Gus. Gus was played by Dick Stillwell, probably one of the best names in all of Hollywood. That not to be in porn. He died shortly after this movie was released.
Yeah, and they feature him prominently as well on the poster, like, hey, starring for all of 2.5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, he didn't have a very long career, but he was there. He was, but like his character has less screen time than Steven Seagal does in Executive Decision, which is hard to beat.
True, but this happens in these type of movies where they'll get a somewhat named actor, give him somewhat of a paycheck so that he can shoot for 2 or 3 days on a 3-week shoot, feature him on the poster. We can sell rights overseas. Gotcha. So yeah, Gus is a goner, and that's all you need to know about him. And this is going to affect the crew. Now we cut, I think, to Los Angeles. Never got a title card. We're just making assumptions here. Rich guy has glass brick around his shower. So I'm assuming he's the power broker. He's the guy. And this is Mason. And we come to learn, I guess is he a network executive, a producer? He's some kind of honcho with a television show.
I think it's the Nature Channel it's a nature channel of some sort because she says the name of it at some point.
Yeah, so he is, he's so rich that when he's walking through a room, an assistant will come up with a glass for him to drink, and he'll just wave the person off like, what in the hell are you bothering me for?
Mm-hmm. I like when she follows him into the bathroom and he just starts undressing in front of her to get in the shower, and she's like, oh my gosh, and she turns around.
She has to get embarrassed.
I don't know if I had to rewind and watch this part multiple times because the assistant picks up the guy's dirty clothes and hangs like a jacket on a hook next to the sink, and then walks back to his spot, and the jacket falls off of the hook and lands back on the ground. and it just stays there. Like nobody goes, "Hey, cut, let's do this again." We had something fall in the back, a prop fall in the background. they just left it, and the dude didn't even like turn back around and pick it up and hang it back up again. Like I would laugh at that so hard. Like nobody saw that but me.
We'll fix it in post or not. Doesn't matter. So Mason has I guess a high-strung assistant or network producer or such, Elizabeth. And she's informing Mason that Gus has just bought it in Scotland. She's like, I got some bad news. Our lead researcher died. Mason is pissed off about this, not because the guy died, but because he just learned that he's invested money in chasing a mythical creature in Scotland. What are you talking about? I'm wasting my money on this. Yeah, and a guy died there, Mason, just to reiterate. Kind of bad. You know, we want
to. I guess he's supposed to be the bad guy because he's, corporate greed and media greed or whatever, but he's done. This is the end of his character. He doesn't do anything other than this.
Yeah, he's just there to be the gruff, cold-hearted, money-hungry media exec or something. So he says, all I'm doing is I'm investing in this. This is crazy. This is stupid. And then his assistant tells him, well, if we can get some footage, we'll get good ratings. Now Mason is on board like that quick. Oh, okay. Yes, we'll do this then. Hold on. You were just, it was a stupid story. Why am I investing in this? Oh, I can get ratings. Okay. So yeah, he literally turns on a dime. And I guess this kicks off our show because he then says, all right, if we're going to do this, I need Case on the job.
like who is Case?
Yeah, he says, and Elizabeth is like beside herself. She's like, no, anybody but Case. He's not right for this. Case is the perfect person for this. I guess because he's out working in the desert, so naturally going up to the cold lake in Scotland is the perfect job for him. Huh? But just go with it. That's what's happening. Yikes. So we then cut, I guess, to the desert.
What was this all about?
They've formed some rocks into an entryway, so it looks as if they're passing into some kind of sarcophagus or something. They're in the Sahara Desert. They're in Afghanistan, and his phone rings. And Elizabeth, hey, we need you to go to Scotland. He's like, what? No, never. I hate the place. I hate water. I'm not going to Scotland. And then he's not going to Scotland.
This whole introduction is so odd because they bring this kid in a Jeep just driving up and then hops up. He's like, hey, he's apparently in the middle of nowhere for this kid to have to drive a Jeep up. And this is a literal kid. I bet you he's every bit of 16, 15 years old. He's like, yeah, this girl's is on the phone and she needs to talk to you. He's like, nah. What? I'm going to say it's really important. Nah. Like, I'm going to guess that if they drove this far out to talk to you in the middle of this remote location and he's going to do it on a satellite phone of some sort, you might want to take the call there, buddy.
Yeah, there's probably, well, we do find out there's a little bit of a history there later. So maybe that was part of it.
He dresses,
but this is the part I enjoyed.
His whole character dresses like that dude from Jurassic Park, the hunter from Jurassic Park. Like the whole movie.
He tried to, but didn't really quite get there. It was more of like he's got a Panama Jack shirt and a cowboy hat. That's about it.
It's always open. He's wearing what looks like a puka necklace in the desert. This dude was a terrible actor. Like, there's terrible actors. This guy, I don't know if there's anybody in this movie that's a good actor. At least not. I mean, maybe they are in real life, but for here, this is sorry, guys.
I mean, I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was bad. It was just more of like, he's supposed to be this gruff, cocky, self-assured guy, and he was more of like, I got this. Not like really selling it. It's pretty much, take my word for it, I'm important.
Yeah, I'd say the performances here outside of Gus dying at the beginning is not good. Gus's death was believable.
Well, this is what I enjoyed the most, though. The phone call comes up. I need you to get to Scotland. The team needs you. He's like, what are you talking about? This is Gus's team. It's Gus's job. It's Gus's research. And then Elizabeth says, oh, I thought you knew. Yeah, Gus died. Now, Case is clearly bothered by this. You could tell they were kind of close. Then he's like, wait, what? You're kidding me. Yeah. So I need you to go to Scotland. And then she just folds the phone and hangs up.
Yes, done. No more information. You want more information? Get to Scotland. How do you get to Scotland from the
I
desert?
thought you already
I don't
knew,
know.
but yeah, your best friend just died. Oh, lunch is ready. See ya. Click.
Bye. Laters.
Just cold. Damn. Well, eventually, Case then does go out to Scotland and meets the whole crew out there who apparently hate him. It's like they're all talking about, we're going to pack up. Everything's done for. We can't do it without Gus. Case shows up. Okay, I'm running the show. Now we're doing this. Shut up. I hate you. I mean, clearly there was some animosity here.
It's
They
like,
did not want to deal with him. You're not going in the water. You're not telling us what to do. You don't know what you're talking about. Why
but
am I watching this movie?
there's no setup. There's no explanation. No,
No.
just hey, I guess you just came back to do what Gus wanted to do. Like there's no setup for his character to be hated in this manner, nor should we, like, as the audience, say, oh, I understand why he's important.
Yeah, it just, again, this entire movie is based on, take our word for it, screenwriting. That's it. Now, Case shows on the scene, and the very first thing he gets to do is to go to Gus's funeral, which they hold out on a small peninsula on the lake with a crowd of people. Who are these people? Because this is a group of Americans that just showed up to do research. But somehow they get 24 people for his funeral.
Well, we can't. We need to really quick. We need to hop back a beat because Case. Do you remember when Case arrives on the scene at Scotland, and he's in a helicopter? Do you remember the helicopter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you see how he got off a helicopter?
Yeah, green screen.
Green screen, and then he throws his bag out of the helicopter onto the ground like he's about to skydive, and then he hops down to the ground and then picks up his bag. Dude, it's a helicopter. Leave your bag on the platform, step down, turn around, pick up your bag. But there was another dude standing there. There was like an assistant standing there waiting to take his bag, and he just tossed it by him. Just threw it right out. And then the girl he meets, the long black-haired girl we're talking about, she's leaning against a tree like she's flirting with him. So I don't know, man. I just can't. I wish I'd stand here and put out the vibe. Just in case you want to pick me up at this funeral. Like, didn't you catch any of that?
It was. I wondered if there was going to be like a meet cute. Is there a romantic history? Is there something? She's just like, hey, Casey, what's going on? And then, oh, that's right. We don't like you.
There was nothing to talk about. They kept trying to seem like there was, like, insinuate that there was going to be a love triangle or a love interest somewhere between him and the long-haired black girl, but then we find out about him and the blonde-haired girl later, and then it never comes to, like, there's nothing adversarial, no animosity, no tension. It's like they just thought, hey, here's some two cute women and a cute dude. Maybe we just insinuate that there's something happening, but we're never actually going to address it in any manner.
It is, yeah. Again, more of it is just implied. Run with it in your own imagination. We don't have time to include this in the script.
Now, that's not to say, look, I think this movie originally was supposed to have probably at least one boob scene in it. There was supposed to be, this was probably supposed to be direct-to-video somewhere on the Blockbuster shelves near the back with, like, sleepover massacre and that kind of stuff, because I think there was supposed to be nudity in this film, and it was cut. It was most likely filmed, but it was cut because all three of these actresses have been in movies with nudity. So I'm assuming that's what they were hired for, because there's that scene where the black haired lady comes out of the water and she's wearing nothing but a white t-shirt, and the dude is helping her onto the dock, and
Yeah.
everything is as what you would expect it to be in a sheer white t-shirt coming out of the water, and then it's
Well,
never
sort of.
addressed again.
Even so, I think they kind of clip edited that. It was supposed to look like her Jacqueline Bisset moment
Yeah, but it doesn't
from the
make sense in the movie. Like, it just randomly happens. It's after the memorial, and she's just like swimming. They've just finished talking about how cold the loch is, and that you need a suit to dive. And here she is, just randomly swimming in just a t-shirt.
Yeah, there's I think this might have been clipped down for television. 'Cause-
I don't know if this aired on television. I couldn't find an airing anywhere, like where they had actually
Mhm.
made it to. I know it was released in a Blockbuster back there when they had like Transmorphers and that kind of stuff back in the day. Snakes on
Yeah.
a train. It was all on that kind of stuff. So I know it was there. I don't know if this ever made it to TV.
Well, it felt like it, but man, I guess not. But it's kind of funny too with the like the helicopter scene. You don't see him climb out of the cockpit. You see him come from behind a blind line. So
Yeah.
he tosses his bag. You don't see him in the cockpit doing this. You just see the helicopter on the ground with a pilot, and then he steps out from behind a green wall, and he doesn't step down like the skiff is lifted up. No, he just walks sideways right off. Just pathetic. And later, when the producer comes in from America, she's at the train station. She's clearly on a green screen set as well.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
hilarious. It almost looked like a video game. I was like, oh, wait, what? I had to rewind that again. It was like, oh, yeah, she's superimposed. So they took a video of a train arriving at a station, played that in the background against the green screen for her to walk up and just check her watch a couple times. Amazing stuff. So we have the funeral. Of course, it was raining. Of course, there were bagpipes. Went through all of that. Check.
But it was only raining in certain parts of the scene. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
It's like they couldn't afford to spray the water hose across everything. So he's dripping wet. Like, he's just completely soaked, and she's dry as a bone. And in the next scene, like, I guess she moved into the rain cloud, and she is just soaking wet, and he's dry as a bone.
Yikes. Yeah, this movie. Well, we've done a number of diving things. We've done a number of research, office kind of drama, everything else. I checked my watch, or at least the time code on the film. We're about half an hour into this thing in Scotland. Still haven't heard a Scottish accent.
And you may not, because there's not many to be had in this movie.
Well, we finally do at this point, because they go to a bar, and that's when they meet the locals who don't like your Yanks in this part of our country.
Oh, yeah.
And now the brogue starts to flow, and there's two waitresses that are just as bitchy as can be. We don't want your Yankees here with our monster. Get out of here. Huh? We don't need you. You don't want their business? They're here to drink. What do you... Maybe get mad after they pay the bill. My little business sense is kicking in. Be friendly first. But no, they're bitchy. Get out of here. And yeah, they come to find out that they're not very welcome here.
No, they're not.
In the loch area.
Why are they not welcome? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. What are you doing? Diving in my water? Oh, no, you're diving in my water. Stop doing that.
Now, along with this film crew, and I'm going to use that term very loosely because, again, I told you this is a film crew for a television show. There's a distinct lack of cameras that these individuals work with.
Not true. When they eventually find the plesiosaurus that washes up on shore, spoiler alert, sorry guys. When they eventually have that happen, and they go to do the autopsy, that dude brings in that a clearly fake VHS camera with a little light on the front of it. Like they just picked that up at Props R Us. Remember that one? He's using that
Yeah.
camera the whole time.
But that's the first time this film crew actually had filmed anything outside of when they were underwater. We have to believe that the divers have cameras on them because the guys up on the boat can see some stuff. So I guess, sure. But I'm not getting a documentary feel from these people. Just going to say it. So, but while they're doing this, there's also a group of people out on the water that's from a conspiracy website. And they are going to fake Nessie on the water, film it so that they can get 10,000 clicks on their website at $1 a click.
Now, wait, hold on. Before we get into that nonsense, you remember how she met him? He's over there eating fries at the table.
in the bar.
He just had a memorial service because they couldn't bury anybody. They had no body. So they had a memorial service for his best friend or his mentor or whatever. And what's he do? He's out at a bar eating a basket of fries and drinking beer. Like that's where he is. And this girl walks over to him and introduces herself and says, you know, I run a website for people. Like, you got a second for me to do an interview with you?
Well, he's all bitchy with her. Like, it's like, get out of her. It's like, dude, okay, I understand you're going through stuff. She doesn't know this. But her introduction in the film too I thought she was the waitress.
I did too.
Like,
I thought she was a waitress, and those were her late 90s friends.
You know, she comes up to the table and she's like, "Hey, I don't want to bother you guys or anything." Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, "Don't you have a job to do, honey? Ain't you got other tables to serve?" And then she finally gets around to telling them that this is what she does. Like, oh, got it. Okay, so and I'm thinking too, why is there an American waitress in Scotland? But okay, now we know. So, what is it? A group of 3 or 4 of them.
There's 3 of them, and she's dating one of them.
Well, no, there's the 4th guy that was on the other boat. Remember? Like, he was on the radio set with them.
Oh, I thought you meant the website group. You're talking about the
website.
It gets very confusing here for a little bit because everybody looks and dresses the exact same. There's nothing to set them apart other than Case.
Yeah, nobody has a personality, and basically it's a girl and 2 guys are trying to control this. I don't know, like a 15-foot mock-up of the Loch Ness monster that they have floating in the water.
Made out of foam.
The 4th guy is on a tourist boat, glass bottom boat, so that you can see Nessie from the deck.
And I love his introduction to the movie. That this dude that's on the boat, the plant, if you will, he comes riding down the Scottish mountainside like a trail on a scooter, like a moped of some sort, and then just hops off of it while it's still running and just lets it roll into the ground, like he's riding a BMX bike. You know, when you're a kid, you ride your BMX, you just hop off at your friend's house and it just crashes into the ground. That's what he does to this thing. Then he runs to go get on the boat. So he buys a ticket to these Nessie tours. I'm trying to find a T-shirt for that, by the way. They had T-shirts for sale. If I find a T-shirt from this movie, Brad, you're getting it for Christmas. That's how that's working. So he runs and he jumps on top of the boat, and the boat is filled with, and I'm Brad, verify this for me, an old man and his son, a black woman, a Chinese lady, the Scottish captain of the boat, which, by the way, the boat is painted with a shark's face on the front of it. And then this douchebag that's standing there with his earbuds in, talking into his microphone on his on the wired earphones the whole time. That is the people on this boat to see a Nessie tour. There might have been an old lady on there too.
No, there was also the one couple, the guy that had the bucket hat and big sunglasses in his girlfriend.
Yep. None of them die, by the way. They all should have, but none of them do.
So the ruse is going to be this. The 3 people are out there with a little John boat and the floating Nessie, Loch Ness Monster mock-up that's painted bright green, by the way. It looks like a putting green in the water. And this guy is on this secondary boat with his camcorder, and he's supposedly going to film them from a distance. And that's going to be the footage they'll upload to the website and make $1 per click.
$1 per click. We're going to make 10 grand with somebody go to our site and give it a dude. Who is getting you $1? Even in 2001, who is paying you $1 per click? What advertising firm is screwing that up?
Okay, but even so, at best, they're going to break even because 4 of these schlubs had to hump it all the way out to Scotland to pull this off. That's even back then, tidy airfare, hotel, all the gear, everything that you had to pull this little thing off. It probably cost you a good 10 grand. I'm just going to say it. But okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not here to run their
already
business.
In the hole.
So they're starting to troll this thing out in the water. The guy on the boat, in the glass bottom boat, actually sees the Loch Ness Monster, the real one, swim under their boat. It's a flash. It's a blur, but you see it.
Yeah. Now, just so you know, there are no glass bottom boats in the loch because it's so dark and murky. You wouldn't be able to. This is not a Crystal Springs glass bottom riverboat that you have. By the way, you ever done those down here in Crystal Springs, Florida? Those things are awesome.
There's the Loch Ness is pretty much like driving a boat through pasta visual.
Now, here's the thing.
See a damn thing.
This is my favorite part. Is everybody that's on this boat is there for a Nessie tour. This is not a Niagara Falls tour. In fact, had these people been on one of those Niagara Falls tours, they would have missed the falls because none of them are looking in the location where they would see Nessie, like in the water. They're just all staring over the side of the boat, like out in the middle of nowhere, like they're bird watching or something.
They're checking out the mountains, but this schlub manages to video record the actual Loch Ness Monster through the glass bottom that nobody else on the boat sees, despite the fact that's why they're there.
Except the kid, and then his dad calls him Sport. What is it, Sport? Like, you deserve to be eaten first, Dad. That thing needs to come up out of the water and grab you by your bucket hat and just rip you overboard, leaving your child to holler in fear for the rest of his life. I know that seems strong,
but Dad is
strong words.
He's actually distracting his kid from the glass. Like the kid's like, "Oh, hey, Dad, you see that?" It's like, knock it off. Come on, check out this stuff over here on shore. Look at over there. There's a tree.
Look at the stuff on shore.
What the hell? We're here for the Loch Ness Monster. I'm checking the water out, Pops. Just saying. So anyway, Captain Beefheart with the camera manages to capture some of the footage, and he starts radioing his partners. Hey, that was awesome, guys. I caught it. Perfect job. The girl in the John boat now says, what are you talking about? And there's now pieces of their Loch Ness Monster floating around.
We're not even over there. We didn't make it.
Apparently they got attacked, but we're not going to show that in the movie.
Yeah, why not show the attack? Like, I want to see that dude dragged out. But the thing is the plesiosaur is not, it's not dangerous. The plesiosaurs were vegetarian, so it doesn't make sense because they don't show anything other than the plesiosaur for most of this movie until near the end after the plesiosaur has been eaten. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to ruin it for you.
But and this is another time I had to rewind. It's like, okay, I definitely missed something here. Something went down with these people. No. He radios over, and the next thing, one guy's trying to climb in the boat, and they can't find a third one. He's gone. Oh, what happened? And they're calling his name out. So we have to assume, again, we have to do all the work here. The Loch Ness Monster attacked their fake Loch Ness Monster. One of their friends died.
Was there two of them swimming underneath the thing? Is that what it was? Yeah. Two of those guys were swimming about?
Yeah, there was two, like, inside the hollowed out monster. And one of them swam back to the boat. The other one didn't make it. Nessie must have got him. And I guess we're sad. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sad. I don't know about you.
And
that's the end of their story.
Well, no, we get one more scene.
Oh, that's right. They show up at the hospital, don't they?
So now we go back to the bar. And there's an old codger in a fishing hat that is the only one in this area of Scotland not pissed off at the Yanks. He's like, I just want to tell you people, I know what you're doing out there. You got to be careful. I'm on your side.
Now tell me his name, because I don't think anybody in this movie understands what his actual name is, because multiple people say it multiple ways, including the same person saying it differently twice.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody seems to know, including him.
His name is okay on IMDb. His name is Blay. They say Blay several times, but they also say Bly. And then the case calls him Blay and then Bly, often in the same scene, sometimes in the same sentence.
He's just that old grizzled guy. That's all we need to really know. Everybody refers to him. We kind of know what they're doing, but yeah, and they would even spell it differently on the subtitles.
Right.
Blay, Bleigh, Bleay.
Yeah, I think his name was supposed to be Blay, but nobody told the people that, and well, they kept screwing it up.
Or it's pronounced Bly in Scotland, but not in Los Angeles when you're writing the script. The whole
That's
thing
possible. Yeah.
So he's basically telling them, there's more to what's going on here. And they start talking about the guy that got killed in the water from the conspiracy crew. But the story that's being sold is that he got hurt or died with a ferry accident because the propeller hit him. Yes, they are actually doing this was no boating accident.
Oh, yeah, it's no boating. He got hit by the blades of a ferry propeller.
So we're now,
even though there's no ferries on the loch,
we're just unabashedly lifting from Jaws at this point. No boating accident, huh? Got it. Okay. And at one point, Case goes to the hospital to talk to them. They don't want to at first, we don't trust you. And then the one guy turns to the others and says, hey guys, I think maybe we should give him our footage. What are we going to do with it?
I know, you get 10,000 clicks.
You are there specifically for Loch Ness Monster video footage. You were going to fake it. You have real Loch Ness Monster footage. And he says, what are we going to do with it? Yeah, what do we? The one thing we came for, we got it. Give it away. And so they hand case the video of the actual monster. Well, we're done with the conspiracy theorist crowd. They're done for the rest of the movie. Bye.
That's it. They just stay in the hospital, and that we never see them again.
What are we going to do with it? So back at the laboratory, that whatever they mocked up, they got all this like audio visual equipment on shelves from like the 1950s. It looks like one of those scientific outfits from the monster movies back then, where just everything's dials and switches and stuff is happening. Look at all the science we got in here. This is impressive. And they're coming to a conclusion that, something, there might actually be a Loch Ness monster here after all. Like, they were there researching it, and it just dawned on them that it could actually be real. It feels like I have to help the people in this movie go through this movie at this point. And this is how dense they are. In one scene when they were underwater filming, they're like, oh my gosh, do you see what I see? Those are eggs. The very next thing that Kay says is, leave those rocks alone and go find Gus.
Yeah, they just keep.
Every time they come across evidence of what they're looking for, they don't want it. Whether it's conspiracy theorist or scientist. Evidence, nah. Got no use for this crap. Who needs data? So eventually, though, they come to a conclusion that they've actually found the very thing they're looking for, Gorsh. And they decide what they have to do is go to the police. Got to let the cops know what we found out so he could close the lake. We don't want any innocent people being killed.
Yeah, you got to close the lake.
The cop basically is now playing the role of the mayor from Jaws wearing the anchor sport coat. Now, I can't close the lake, you sons of bitches, you Yanks. Get out of here.
Now, let's make sure we understand why they want to close the lake, okay? Why would you close the lake? Because the only people on the lake are the druids. there's a group of druids on the shore worshiping nature, the lake, humming at it. That's where she came when she came out of the water in her Jacqueline Bisset moment. She says, "Look at all those people over there. They're weird. What are they doing? I don't know. You're swimming in a cold lake wearing nothing but a t-shirt. Why are they weird? They just over there communing with nature. You're over here making fun of them for no reason. Also, why are you swimming in a lake? Get out of here." They're druids. That's
Mhm.
what they said they are. They said they're druids. So they need to close the lake from the druids. Now these druids never move from the spot apparently, because every time we see images of the druids, everybody is standing in the exact same location.
And if you're if you're theistically ignorant on the Druids and their history, I can just sum it up for you this way: they're Scottish hippies.
They are Scottish hippies.
They worship nature. They're very earthbound. They're very organic. So much so that they have a ceremony at night with glow sticks.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Nothing better than
very,
pouring toxic chemicals into the lake as a druid.
very, very organic and unrecyclable. But okay, sure. But the cop now is literally in that role from Jaws where he's like, you don't understand. I can't close the lake. Tourist season's mocking up. And by the way, get the F out of my town. Pack up your gear. You got 24. What do you tell him? You got a day and a half to leave or something?
Yeah.
What?
You've got 24. He says it twice. He goes, "You've got until tomorrow or something to pack up your stuff and get out of town, you big hoser." And then a little bit later, he says it again. He goes, "I'm off shift now. You've got exactly 16 hours before I come back to work, and you need to not be here." Like, how do you not slip in how deep the lake is, but you manage to figure out exactly how much time this dude's going to be off between shifts?
Yeah, he's full of arbitrary time codes. Like this guy operates on deadlines in his own head. You have a day and a half to clear out of here. You better be gone when I'm back in 16 hours.
Right.
Okay, cop. Constable. This movie. You got to have fun with it because it's not going to have fun on your expense.
Now, look, Vernon, the guy who's playing the constable, he is giving it his all. Old Vernon Wells, he's putting everything he can into this location or this character, and he's not getting anything back from these folks. They are just given nothing to work with. But I've seen him in other stuff. Oh my gosh, he played Bennett in Commando. That's why I recognized him. He plays the main bad guy in Commando.
Wow. Okay. And now he's the gruff constable in Loch Ness.
Oh my gosh, how far he is falling.
Well,
Money.
And he's in Scotland, so there's a good chance he might be going commando in this movie.
Oh boy.
Wow. Rick with the pictures. Thank you for that.
He was also in The Road Warrior. And he just had a big falling off.
Well, Paul, there's no small roles, only small actors.
I remember. I knew I recognized him. I just couldn't remember where it was. That's it. He played Bennett.
Well, I have to laugh at this scene too because he's heard all this before, but these are quasi-scientists that actually have evidence. They're saying, something killed our friend, something killed the guy with the harbor over there. We got this evidence. I got video footage. You got to close the lake. Bah, be gone. You and your evidence. Who needs proof?
Yeah, bring me proof. And Case keeps saying that. Old Jungle Man keeps going, "We need to get proof. We need proof. We've got to find proof." "Well, here's an egg. That's not proof. We need proof." "Well, I got this video. That's not good enough. We need proof. We've got to keep searching for proof, like there's Scooby-Doo looking for clues." He just keeps going, "I need proof." And every time somebody would give him proof, he goes, "That's not enough proof. We need more proof." How much? What do you need? Like 110 proof there, Hennessy? What are you looking for? Like, what's going to do
it's
it
like
for
that
you?
Phil Hartman skit they had on Saturday Night Live where they kept trying to fire him. It was like, "Come on, tell me what's going on. Word on the street, what?" You're gone. You're finished. You're through. Come on. Quit beating around the bush. Throw it at me like it is. So they go back out on the water, and I feel kind of stupid now because I was complaining about the lack of Scottish people. A boat full of Scottish fishermen shows up direct from the cliche casting
Oh
department.
my gosh. Yes. These guys are amazing.
These guys were basically, they should be doing voice work in cartoons.
And they probably were. I bet if I
Whenever
looked them up, I bet they were.
Because all you hear from them is boisterous, loud talking. Everybody's lads, get over here, lads, lovers, losses, lads.
Even Gerard Butler was like, "Hey guys, can y'all dial it back a bit? Just
Sure.
just bring it back a second.
It's like,
Save some for me."
We're the Scottish rednecks. That's what we are. I. They also say I about 700 times. And I never understood what this whole thing was. They pulled up next to the boat of the researchers, tied on there, and just start belly aching at them. Oh, you goddamn Yanks out there. You're going to get yourself a monster, are you, lads?
And it wasn't just that. They were fishing. They were, what do they call it? Boom fishing? Is that what they called it? They're throwing out little pieces of like M80s. So now they're trying to fish with M80s.
The whole time, the researchers were bothered because they have underwater sensors, but they were being disrupted because these guys are basically dynamite fishing. They're dropping M80s into the water and scooping up the dead fish, and it's just throwing off our research. So that's happening. But that whole scene made no sense. It's like they pulled up and it's like, hey, can we help you guys? Yeah, screw you, you Yanks. You piss off, lads. Bye.
Oh, wow. Do you know who that dude is?
No idea.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. He just passed away this year on February 24th. His name is Gary Gibson, and he was a big actor in the 80s. He was in a bunch of stuff. He played Critch in the Rockford Files. Do you remember that guy at all?
No.
He was a reoccurring role in the Rockford Files, and his name was Critch. He also played in Murder, She Wrote. Anytime they needed basically a Scottish actor to do anything with a Scottish accent, they brought this fella in through most of the 80s to do stuff. I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff. Here you go. He was in a TV show called Tales of the Gold Monkey. His name, Arthur Frumby. Just give it as Scottish as you can.
McKinney, McKinnon, McClellan. Yeah, I just see most of his characters have to be that.
Murder, She Wrote, the Celtic riddle. You know he was the riddle because he's Scottish and they're making him Celtic. You know that's what it did with it. He was all over the place, bro. That's right. Interesting. I like finding out that information about those people. He was Patrick O'Shea in Magnum PI.
Of course he was.
Tom Shuford in Matlock. Father O'Brien in The Deadly Care. Yeah, this dude, Dr. Tarico in Second Serve. What is that? I don't even know what that is. So I'm going to look it up. Drunk Santa number 2.
Basically, his character name was McStereotype.
McStereotype. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, that explains why he is in this. That's why you think he's being over. That's his actual accent. I don't think he was overplaying it.
Wouldn't that be Mac stereotype? Because Mick is more Irish. Mac is.
That's true. Yeah, Mac stereotype.
Oh,
just
name. Was I being racist?
Little. That's all right. We'll allow it.
I thought the Irish were
uninformed. You're uninformed.
Yes. I'm xenophobic that way, I suppose. I get my island nations mixed up. Now I'm already deathly challenged by this movie, I gotta say, but at this point I wanted to start throwing fish at the screen. Case calls over to Los Angeles to say that he needs to speak with Elizabeth. And the assistant there says, well, she can't come to the phone right now, but you're going to speak to her in a few moments. And that's when he turns to the rest of the crew and says, okay, guys, it's going to get interesting. She's now flown to Scotland, green screen at the train station, and she shows up. This is the part that got to me. Oh, look at that. She walks in and says, how you doing? I'm Elizabeth Borden. And Case turns to her and says, hi, Lizzie. Yes, her name is Lizzie Borden. I mean, I'm done. I'm done with this movie at this point in time. Lizzie Borden is the blonde, severe producer. Fine. So she's there to get this production back on track so they can get enough footage for the show. They show her some of the footage. What does she say, Paul? I can't use that. That's photoshopped.
Yeah, that's photoshopped. That's photoshopped. I don't know if she's aware of this, but that would have been Adobe Premiere. That would have been a premiered. You would have said that's been premiered.
This is a movie that had him step off a helicopter on green screen and had her standing in a fake train station just 90 seconds earlier, and she's complaining about Photoshop footage.
But they need more proof, Brad. They need more proof. They've got cameras in the water that and apparently all the cameras are so sensitive to the photo, to like the boom fishing, that it throws their sensors off all the time. Not the murky depths of this water, but the sensors.
It's kind of like,
I don't understand.
They're like trail cameras, and if
works.
dynamite goes off, they all come off their anchor, and now they can't shoot anything but the ground, I guess.
I don't understand the science behind this movie, and I'm fairly confident the writers and director did not either.
No, they didn't. But we come to learn now that Lizzie, that would be Lizzie Borden, pretty much has the same mentality as the cop, because she's telling them, all right, we got to get everything put together. We have to get a show. We're desperate. We need to get it. And they're like, come on, we can't. No, we have to get a show, because with the show, then it gets popular. We get money. And then Case, you can get paid to go dig in the desert. So basically her mentality is $1 a click. Same thing. So she's demanding footage so we can put an episode out and make a crap ton of money. They show her all the evidence, and then she says, that's it. I'm pulling the plug on this. We're all going home.
Yeah. like what? Hey, show me more proof. Here you go. Here's more proof. Here's something being eaten alive by a pleasant. Nope. Need more proof.
They've got all kinds of crap going on, and they have half of it on film. You could splice together 2 episodes with what they've got. And she's pissed off and like, that's it. Cut. No more. We're done. So, was it this point where they had the one creature wash up on shore?
Yeah, and it was the creature gets washed up on shore, and it's the worst CG you have ever seen in your entire life. Like earlier in the movie where they had that big fake green Dino-looking Loch Ness monster they were floating around, that looked more real than what they actually chose to do with the CG.
Well,
it was that was bad CG, bro.
The way they do it is it's a crane shot, probably 30 feet in the sky, shooting down. You see a couple coming over the rocks, exploring, and in the water, right on the shore, is this big gray plesiosaur. They kind of find it. Like they barely, like the guy looks and is like, oh, there's a thing.
They're walking their dog or something and come across it.
But they don't even react. It's just kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting that on the shore. Is that good? Did I act good? Am I done? Am I acting done? So the cop.
Well, here's the thing. Well, okay. No, I guess that makes sense. Dang it. No. I got to move from metric to standard.
Uh-oh.
It's like, oh, so the plesiosaur was 2 meters long, 6.5 feet, and could grow up to 15 meters, 50 feet. This thing was definitely not on the smaller side, because his head's on the ground and the rest of his body's floating out in the water, right?
Could have been a baby, could have been juvenile.
Well, then they bring it into this meat locker, and it like, how did you get it down the hallway and then into the autopsy room?
Well, yeah, the cops have it now, and this is when the police chief has to call a press conference because he now has firm evidence of a monster in the lake, but he doesn't want to close the lake because it's tourist season. And so his idea is, well, we got proof now there's a monster in there, but we caught it. So go ahead, kids, go swimming. What the hell kind of cop are you? Why is the constable so concerned with keeping the beaches open? Your job is to serve and protect, not turn a profit. I don't understand this. Like, I understand what the scriptwriter wants is a member of authority who's craven and wants to keep the beaches open. That's not a cop. Cop's job is not. I just can't with this film anymore. It's like I'm putting in 3 times the work than the 3 writers did for this thing. Crap. Oh,
And really, if you think about it, that's kind of on you.
it is. Yeah. I can't help myself at this point. I'm just kind of there. So the cop has this press conference, and then the assembled media, all 8 of them, including Case and our people, he opens the meat locker and just lets them kind of lean in and take a couple of pictures real quick.
With that really bad camera from the Sears catalog circa 1983.
So now this is like that at a carnival, you go to that one tent where they got the freaks of nature, and you're allowed to walk by. Hey, don't get too close. Don't get too close. Wait, it's a goat boy. It's supposed to be. I want to see the goat boy. Yeah, you saw the horn. That's good enough. Move along.
Move along.
Cop's the same way. He's like, all right. You've seen the monster. You're done. Clear out. Let's clear out. Well, our intrepid researchers, that's not good enough. So what do? I guess break into police headquarters.
Now let me stop you. Let me stop you right there, Brad. Let me just stop you right there.
Okay.
In this original scene, it is a completely solid door where it's solid. There's no windows on this door. When the police chief lets everybody go in there and quickly look at the plesiosaur and then shuffles them back out. When these 3 dum-dums break in to go look at this thing, there's a window has been added to the door so that they can look in and the camera can look at them looking in from the inside.
So that window wasn't there in the first?
The window was not there in the first one. But in addition to that, and I sent you a text of this, and I'm going to tweet it out right now because it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But Case has what has to be the most comically oversized flashlight I've ever seen in my life. I mean, clearly it's real. It's not AI. It's too early for AI. It could have been Photoshopped.
Okay, now
it could be Photoshopped.
I want to describe this thing though, because we've all seen mag lights, right? The cops have. It's a good.
That's not what this
This
is.
is like mag lights are about 2.5 feet long, right? And you pump it full of like 8 D cell batteries. This thing is
powered by a car battery.
That length. The barrel is 3 times as wider, and the lens. It's about the size of a telephoto on a Panaflex. I mean, this thing.
That's what I thought it was at first. I thought it was like he was like took it from a sports camera.
And this
like
thing is shooting a beam.
Photos.
I mean, it's an operational flashlight, but it looks like you could do like curls with this thing. And
it looks like it could be Tommy Lee's flashlight, if you know what I'm saying.
He didn't even need a mag light. He needed just a regular flashlight. This thing is massive. Compensating. That's all I'm going to say. So, but yeah, we see them. We have no idea how they got into headquarters. We just they got in. What are you going to do? The scene starts, you're shooting POV from inside the meat locker. So we see the 3 heads and they're peeking in. They're like, there he is. Hey, good thing I learned how to pick locks, he says. Yeah, that's convenient for the screenwriter. And with no effort whatsoever, they get the door open and now they're analyzing the monster that's in the meat locker. This was about
Monster in the Meat Locker. That's another name for a movie.
and here, I mean, I'll give the prop guys at least some credit here. This thing looked probably the best looking part of any monster in this film, whether it's CGI.
Yeah, this was well done.
That's
Yeah.
a good thing. I mean, prosthetically, it looked realistic enough. And this thing is like, what, 20, 35 feet in length, maybe. You've got all kinds of material to work with here. You got a massive specimen. She's farting around with something in the mouth and takes out about a 3 millimeter piece of the mouth, and that's all they need. What?
Yep, this confirms it. There's something else living in the lock. Something ate the Nessie.
You take a sample that's about 5 cc's, put it in a test tube, and that's all. Like, yank a tooth, pull a flipper, take some stuff with you that you can do some research with. Nah, I'm just going to swab his cheek. That's going to do it for me. I mean, I'm not a marine biologist, full disclosure, but I take some evidence. Geez, you broke into police headquarters. But that's pretty much all they need. But also at the press conference now was the Scottish guy that's playing the Robert Shaw character from Jaws. You know, he's gruff, he's angry, pisses off everybody in town. Oh, you want to get the monster? I'm the guy you need to get. And so our science crew is convinced Loch Ness Monster is real. They go out to this guy's trailer who lives on the lake now. Buckle in. We got to hear his backstory. This is going to take a good 5 minutes of screen time.
Oh, but did you notice that when they walked up to his trailer, he had a fishing net used to keep his door shut? So if he had been inside, he would have had to reach out the window to undo it, like he was driving a 1980s Pacer.
But he gives him this story, and then we get a flashback scene. He's in a boat with a young boy, and they're fishing. I think, were they boom fishing?
They were boom fishing, but he gave his son 3 sticks of M80 and put them together and said, "Hey, don't drop these." Well, bro, it's not nitroglycerin.
But I love too when, like, every time somebody says, "Yeah, we need to get even deeper so we can get more fish," they'll light the fuse and then they hold it for like 5 seconds. It's like, if you want to go deeper, drop the some bitch. But no. Then while they're doing it, at some point in time, Nessie comes up, disrupts the boat. The boy dies. The city, everybody around blames him. He gets kicked out of the Navy. All of this divorce, tragedy befalls this guy's life. And then I love this part. He looks at them both and says, "And that boy was my son."
Like, we figured that out, dude. I didn't think you were out on the loch with some random kid you just met.
If you're going to tell this story, you pretty much lead with that. Let me tell you how I lost my boy. No. So he set this whole story up for them. It's like, okay, I went fishing. 8-year-old kid is with me. We'll get to that detail later. We were out in the water.
So here I was, minding my own business, killing fish with dynamite.
And before you jump to conclusions, I'm not the final. Let me just say this. Spoiler alert. Get on. Stop it. Whatever. So, yeah, he's now the gruff fisherman who's got retribution against the monster, just like Robert Shaw and the shark. I mean, Peter Benchley should sue these people. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, they're convinced that this is going on. We go back to the Druids for a while. They're on shore with the glow sticks now, partying. And there's like, what, 7 or 8 of them in the water with
they decided
torches?
to get in the water with a ring of torches. Like, there's fire in this ring. If they're not more than 20 yards offshore.
Oh,
Like
yeah, they were like shoulder deep water, weren't they? I mean, they were like bobbing. Okay. So now our scientists, they go out in the water to try to warn the druids to get away because the monster's going to get them. They being Scottish hippies, they're probably hired in a satellite and ignore them. We're just, I'm in the water floating with my fire. Shut up, Yankees. Leave us saloon. We're druids. Then the monster shows up that has to be about 80 damn feet tall. Mouth out of the water, comes down on them. They're in like 5 feet of water. And this thing is the size of a Winnebago Plus and comes and crashes down on top of them like they're in 90 feet of water. I know, biology and a movie about a monster in the water. What am I thinking? What am I doing importing all this stuff into the film?
Well, they've made this thing look like, and we don't see it much. I mean, literally, we do not see this thing much at all. But they've made it like a sea serpent. Yeah. And I guess that's the whole idea behind it, is that this fissure, the earthquake has opened up a fissure. Gus's theory was that the fissure led to the ocean, and that a sea creature from the ocean had gotten into the lock and gotten trapped. And so he could get in, but he couldn't get out, like a roach motel. And he was just swimming around eating everything. But that was in addition to the dinosaur that was there as well. So not only do we have a sea creature of unknown origin in the actual ocean, now we have a sea creature that's been there for at least 17 years in the lock. And it is not just eating everything around it, it is also eating the plesiosaur. So what do we do? I've confused myself with this movie.
They don't even know either, because at some point they were talking about this fissure that opened up because of the earthquake that killed Gus, and salinity is coming into the lake now, and that must be how this creature got in. It's like, okay, but the lake is fresh water, which they even point out, but they don't explain how it's staying in the fresh water. Is it a bull shark? What the hell is this?
So and he says, I forgot about that part. He says it multiple times. He's like, hey, what's the saline levels? What do you mean, what's the saline levels? What are you talking about?
Yeah, apparently they measure that. They're in a freshwater lake, so they have saline sensors in the water. Why? Why would you? But they do. Hey, they're good. But they bring all this up and never explain. It's like, okay, the saline levels are up. That's how he got from the ocean to here. But why is he staying? He should be like beating cheeks and getting back to the ocean. But no, sticking around and causing all kinds of mayhem and stuff. So now they decide they're going to have to do something to kill this thing. And our Scottish friend Bly is the one that's going to do it. He insists on it. He tells them, I'm going down. You're putting me in your gear, and I'm going to go fight this thing. So they go to pick him up at his trailer. He comes walking out. In William Wallace face paint.
Yeah, he's holding a spear. he's got like a harpoon with a back hook on it, and he's wearing a kilt. I'm making that. He's wearing a kilt,
and he's got this face paint like Mel Gibson did in Braveheart.
That's what he told him. He goes, all right, Braveheart, if that's what you want to do. And then he wears that face paint the rest of the movie.
Yes, he's in the water in the scuba gear with this on. Like they have full head scuba apparatus on, lights on the side, and a microphone in with them so they can talk to the people up on shore. We see him the whole time with face paint inside this getup. It is the dumbest damn thing, and it cracked me up, and I love it for it. And I think he brought his own bomb. Did I understand that correctly?
I think so, because they called it, like, you normally use C4. This guy's using C94 or something, or C90. Is that a thing? We got any bomb disposal professionals in the chat that can tell us whether C90 is something?
Tex. So this is going on, and they have their own depth charges they want to use on the creature, but then the police show up on shore while they're in the water, and the police are just putting out their depth charges. in
Oh,
50-gallon barrels.
and this was the best. There's just like two dudes in raincoats loading barrels it just has an explode like a hazardous explosion sticker on the side of it. They're black barrels, and they're just loading them on the back of this truck. They're not strapping them down. They're not handling them gently. Like what?
Well, this is the funny thing. Throughout the scene, they're underwater, and we keep seeing barrel hit the water, boom, barrel hit the water, boom. They had to throw, what do you think? Over a dozen of these, correct?
They did not load a dozen on that boat.
They're on a boat that can't be more than 15 feet long. And the transom of this thing is about the size of a king-size bed. They would have had to have had 25, 50-gallon barrels on the back of this thing. It would have sunk before it left the harbor. Just saying.
Okay, Loch Ness is 22 square miles. It's 22 square. These guys are just randomly throwing barrels out. Like you're not gonna. Where are you throwing them? Pick a spot. Like, are you just randomly? They're just driving randomly around, and the place they randomly decide to throw barrels just happens to be at the exact same location that the guys are down there diving. But they can't get a hold of the guy's attention to tell them stop throwing your barrels over this place because they're diving. Why? Because they don't have the universal diving flag up. The dude's waving an orange flotation device. Like, do you not have a dive stick in the water? Do you not have your dive flag up on top of your boat?
Yeah, that's the thing is they're mad. The cops keep doing it. They keep trying to bring them up on the radio and telling them to stop. And the cops are like, sorry, we're blowing crap up. Can't hear you. Boom, another 50-gallon barrel. So we got to wrap this thing up because it's almost over, and I still have no idea what they're planning to do. That was never really explained. We're going in the water, and we're going to get this thing. How are you going to do that? We'll let you know. And so now it's Case and Blue, the Scottish dude, William
Blue.
Wallace. The two of them are in the water doing stuff. I guess Bly went in a lot earlier than Case did. And by the time they get down there, there's stuff happening. And then he has to check. For some reason, Case has to check Bly's gauges underwater. I don't know why you can't check your own gauges while you're scuba diving. It's kind of part of the game there. You have to. He tells them,
I don't think they were scuba. And that's the thing is he acted like he was using a dive suit with a helmet that's bringing in pressurized air from up top. Because if it was scubaing, they'd have to put tank. I didn't never see a tank on him.
It's take our word for it filmmaking here.
Well, he tells him he's got an hour and a half of air left.
No, bar and a half.
A bar and a half. That was a bar and a half? Okay.
You only have 1.5 bars. Okay, is that good or bad? So there's a net that has been placed over this entrance to the fissure, yet it's got a huge hole in it that they discover, and yet at the same time, it's still going to keep the creature from going back to the ocean, which I think you would want it to be the other way to keep it from coming in.
Right.
Again, not a marine biologist, full disclosure. And so because Bly's almost out of air, he has to sacrifice himself for some reason because he can't surface.
I'm not coming up without you.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I'm not coming up without you, man. Not doing.
And so he's dedicated to using his explosive and finds the eggs at the bottom of the lake. So now he's going to blow up the eggs. And he blows up the eggs.
But not before stabbing the eggs with the harpoon he's been holding the whole time. He's been into the water holding a harpoon, because it turned into Moby Dick suddenly. It's a Moby Dick story.
Yeah. So if you're stabbing the eggs, why do you have to blow them up? But he does because it's says so in the script.
You killed
And
my child, now I kill yours. If that was the line that he used.
yes, revenge is mine. So he blows himself up, but then everybody up on shore is like, "Oh, that's sad. Oh crap! What about Case? Case is a goner too now." And now they play some sad bastard Scottish music because you knew that was coming. Got to have a very mournful Scottish ballad playing. We see our 4 remaining researchers right on the edge of the shore. The girl's got Case's cowboy hat on. They're all mournful and sad. Oh.
This whole time, we talked about this prior to the show. This whole scene makes it seem as if it's been a while, like a couple of days they're looking for him, because they show people jumping over the sides of the boat, diving down and coming back up, looking for him and stuff, like searching for him. And then they've changed their clothes, they're hunting. I'm sure they've had some meals. And then we switch over to a scene with a guy on a motorcycle wearing goggles, and he's got a fishing rod coming out the back of his motorcycle like a whip antenna for a CB radio. I've never seen such a thing in my life. And he's going fishing in jeans, leather boots, a leather jacket, goggles. That's what he's fishing. That's his fishing gear. And he comes pulling up to the rockiest place I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's no way you're fishing here. Well, he just stops, gets off his bike, cuts to the side, and we're supposed to notice that Case is laying on the shore, has washed ashore. But the movie is filmed so dark that it just looks like he's staring at a lump of rubble, and you don't know what he's looking at. And then the dude walks over to him, stands and looks over him. Cut scene. That's it. That's the end of that scene. That's how it ends. Tell him what happens next, Brad. Go ahead, tell him.
Well, they're all on the shore, weepy. Miss Case. I love his cowboy hat. And then Case is like, "Hey, what you assholes doing out here? What's going on?
What you looking for? We were so glum."
What?
And he's dressed in the same outfit he's been wearing the whole movie. He went from, and how do they explain it? Yeah, Gus was right. The fissure opens up into the ocean, and that's where I washed ashore.
I have to interject here. So, Bly was going to blow things up. Case had no way to escape. I'm just going to take this fissure to the ocean that the creature used. I did my research. Loch Ness is located 25 miles away from the ocean. Ain't no way Case got enough oxygen to swim 25 damn miles and come out on a beach somewhere. Shut the hell up, movie.
And that would be if he had enough air to on a straight path, like the English Channel. He's probably going back and forth through tight spaces to even get where he's going. But the fact that he is laying
25
unconscious,
miles underwater would take him about 4 damn days scuba diving.
but the fact that he is laying unconscious on like a rocky shore, he's been washed up on the rocks, and a motorcycle guy catches him. And here's the best part: they make it clear that this had happened at the same time. Why do I know this? Because when he pulls up behind them, he's on the motorcycle. You hear the motorcycle's engine pull him up to where these friends are standing. So this has happened in the same day. This motorcycle dude has picked him up, taken him back to the camper, allowed him to change, not told anybody else about it, and then drove him up behind his friends that he didn't know where they would be, but just standing there mournfully looking over the loch. And he's like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Cut scene, end movie. That's how it ends. We get nothing else. I think, didn't he kiss like his ex-wife or something? Like she slaps him, then kisses him, or something stupid like that.
She comes up and like shoves him and like, "You piece of son of a bitch."
Love you.
Hey guys, what you doing out here? What you see a monster? Oh, it's in the water. What's going on? What you...
I honestly think they filmed that scene first. Like that's the very first scene they filmed, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna do the ending now." Yeah, we're just gonna work up to it. And then he got to the end and was like, "How's this gonna work?" I don't know. Just put him on a motorcycle. We'll be done with it.
What a damn movie this was. And yeah, they tried to do the Jurassic Park thing too, where in a movie about the Loch Ness monster, the monster was on screen for, I mean, total. If we watched it, 90 seconds, maybe.
Oh yeah, easy. It may not have been that much. You see his
That's if
eyeball
we
a
count.
lot.
That's if we count the plesiosaur that washed up on shore and was in the meat locker.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it swirl on screen for like a second or two. I think 3 times we saw that same shot of the eye when it opens and then it contracts, and that's it. I mean, there's hardly any damn monster in the Loch Ness Monster movie. Whatever.
I'll tell you what, you can't expect much from the same guy who wrote Puppet Master X Axis Rising. Came out in 2012, which, by the way, it's on Tubi, so I'll be watching that later.
Yeah, so this one was a bit hard to find. It's only available really to rent on Amazon Prime, or you can get it for free in a bad copy on YouTube. That's a little dark, but I feel really bad that I had to pay to watch it because the dark was too dark. Paul and I needed details in order to deliver this magical episode. Go to YouTube if you want to, and if you don't want to, that's fine too. This thing was not that good at all. Damn. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I need something a little stiffer for my popcorn right now, so I got some bourbon waiting after this fiasco.
Yeah, good luck.
Tell us, Paul, where can people find some more of your content?
I'm on Zitter at Movie Paul, posting pictures of comically large flashlights.
Go to Paul's feed. He's got screenshots of this guy's
Flashlights, he says.
yes.
Flat with an A. With an A, Rick. With an A.
That's not what the listeners heard.
With an A. I have a Floridian accent.
Man, that guy Case has a huge torch.
Wow. All right. Good night, folks. Hey, we're closing this show out with some Scottish power metal.
Yes, stick around for that anthem. That's the best part of this episode. I promise you. Holy hell! As for myself,
the group's name is Glory Hammer. I've been listening to him since 2016. Glory Hammer.
Shut up! You have not.
So wait a minute. We're talking about flashlights and Glory Hammer in the same sentence.
That's right, son. Like I am who I am, and I bring what I bring.
Wow, the single entendres are just flying right now.
Look them up.
For myself, I'm available over at townhall.com, where I've got my media column there called Rift from the Headlines. I'm also on the front page of Red State on the regular, and I got a twice weekly podcast there called Liable Sources, going even further into the mayhem of the media of this country. And you can hear me on this network. Next Thursday, I'm going to be here with Ordy Packard as he and I get all of the vital entertainment information for you on the Culture Shift. Tuesday evenings at 8:30, I'm here with the ever-effervescent Aggie Reekin on the Cocktail Lounge, where we bring all the updates on college football and cocktails, sports, fun, frivolity, news, wackiness. We try to have some fun to distract a little from the ongoing dysfunction in politics and news. But the bigger news, tomorrow night, right here at KLRN, you got to tune in because it's one of our regular features here where the KLRN players themselves gather to put on a radio production. Tomorrow night for Halloween, it is the day the earth stood still. Ooh. All of the magic voices here at KLRN will be involved in that. So tune in. It's always fun. It's always great work as far as that goes. So it's a can't miss, as we love to say. So Paul and I are going to have to recover from this one, I think, but we got 2 weeks to do so, because then we will be back right here with some more Disasters from Hollywood on Disasters in the Making.
Heck yeah.